Well, despite the global economy being more prepared for potential supply chain disruption than it was in the first Trump administration, or Trump 2.0 has presented a new set of issues to be navigated by global corporates. In just a few days, 25% tariffs levied on Canadian and Mexican goods then abruptly paused. 10% U.S. tariffs have been met with retaliatory measures on U.S. coal, liquid natural gas, and agricultural machinery. President Trump has threatened to impose International Emergency Economic Powers Act tariff on Canada, Mexico, and China related to fentanyl, national security tariffs on autos, auto parts, steel, and aluminum from all countries. While the act tariff on all countries related to an economic national agency, while U.S. Postal Service has declined to accept parcels from China on Hong Kong amid a row over the so-called tax loophole. Let's go. Well, let's discuss this now. Lecturer in Logistics and Supply Chain Management at the University of Bradford, United Kingdom, Dr. Olushola Kolawole is joining me via Zoom to talk more on its implications on trade and global supply chain. It's good to have you join us on Business Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. Trump 2.0 is, I don't know if a lot of us anticipated this disruption in the global space. But first, let me get your thoughts on what you've seen so far in the last couple of days, the impact on trade tariff war, and of course the global economy with regards to logistics and of course trade issues, which I know is your area of expertise.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah. Many of us were aware of what happened during the first term of President Donald Trump. And I'm sure we are not expecting anything more than what he has started with now. And to be honest with you, a lot of people are not expecting him to bring out some of this command that he has given, especially when it comes to the tariff. And a lot of organizations, a lot of economy, they are still studying what is going to happen in the next few months, in the next few years. But sincerely, it's something that is not going to be easy at all, because the United States of America, they are changing in a way that is not supposed to be. Let me put it that way. There is something that is called the theory of structural change. Now, America is not a producing economy. America is a service economy. And that is why you can see there is a lot of headquarters of service organizations that they are all based in the United States. So if you look at some of the tech organizations, they are all based in the United States. Why? Because United States is the headquarters of service organization across the world. And they are leader in that. But however, when President Donald Trump came on board, he wanted to change that narrative. He wanted to move the USA to a producing economy. And I think it's going to be very difficult because moving to a producing economy means that you've been losing your power as a service economy, which you are known to be, which is why you are the leader of the economy across the world. So I think it's going to be a challenging moment to a lot of organizations. It's going to be a challenging moment to a lot of countries, where especially countries that depend on the United States of America. And like I said, we are still studying that. We're still looking at what will happen in the next couple of months. But it's going to be a tough one. And it's been declared as a trade war. It's a trade war between United States. China is also part of it. Some developing countries are also part of it, including their country, Nigeria. You know, European Union, they don't know what to do at the moment because they are also part of it. So it's going to be a lot of things in the next couple of months.
But if no, for someone like me who is a consumer, I'm just worried about the potential consequences of this increased tariff, of course, on consumer prices and spending habits. What do you think the market would look like?
Yeah, thank you again, Sarah. This is going to alter what is called the global economy. It's going to alter the global economy, and it's going to alter our understanding of macroeconomy. You know, as we know, where there is free trade in the global economy, free trade is promoted. So one country, another country, they can trade together. But however, the implication of what we are experiencing at the moment means that it's going to increase the price of goods, because the importer that are coming to the United States, there is a tariff that has been added to what they are going to be selling in the United States. It means that they are going to bring back the tariff on the products that they're going to be selling across the world, especially in the United States. So it's going to increase the price of goods in the next couple of months. It's going to increase the price of product. That is one of the implications. And don't forget again, when the price of goods are increased, the question is that the income increasing as well? And the answer is no. When the disposal income is not increased and the price of goods and services are increasing every day, it's going to lead to what is called the inflation. The inflation is going to rise, and before you know it, it's going to affect the common man in the street. They might not be able to afford the goods that they want for their family, for themselves. So this is going to, is going to come back to the ordinary consumer like us, like yourself as well, as the price of goods will increase. And there is a risk, like I've mentioned, that there's going to be inflation reservoir in a way, where inflation will definitely come back, not only to the country that are importing goods to the United States, it's going to also happen to the United States. So that is why I think it is very important for President Donald Trump to think about this policy, and if there is a way he can amend it, that would do a good, it will be very good to the world. Production will also slow down, because when people are not longer demanding for a particular product because of the high price, then it's going to slow down the production of such products,
Dr. Kolawole,
which in turn will also affect the manufacturer. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to say, just before we take a look at what's the need for the United States and, of course, Donald Trump, what is he trying to prove? Before we take a look at that, I was just going to ask, particularly for small businesses or corporate organizations, what do you think would happen? How do you think they should be navigating these trying times and still stay afloat in business?
I think one of the things is that we need to now be thinking about new suppliers, especially those who are dependent on the United States. They need to be thinking about new suppliers, looking for new countries to partner with to sell their products. That's the first thing. Looking for new markets. That's number one. And number two, it is very important for companies to be looking for alternatives. Diversification is another thing. We need to diversify our products. So if you are producing a particular product and you are depending on the consumer in the United States, you might be looking for a different product. Diversify your product and move into another thing entirely to benefit a different supplier or a different consumer. That's another thing. And I think there's going to be a need for more investment. Company and organization need to think about bringing more investors on board. Now, if you look at what has happened to the stock exchange across the world has really reacted to the pronouncement by President Donald Trump, which means that there is going to be an implication even to the investors. But nevertheless, companies and organizations need to talk to their investor and reassure them that, yes, we are still on board, but these are the steps we are taking to ensure that the impact of this tariff does not really affect our production. So they need to be thinking about resiliency in supply chain and make sure that things are done according to what they had planned.
So let's take a look at how this really affects, or what's the need for the United States and for President Donald Trump. What do you think will be the influence on the US dollar value around the world, and of course, the implication for international trade?
Well, the implications for the international trade is that there's going to be instability in the freight demand, which is one of the things I've mentioned. It's going to affect shipment, for example. Shipping is one of the things that really goes well when it comes to the international trade, and this is going to really affect them. And number two, there's going to be price instability as well. You know, price of goods will not be stable because of the issue of the pronouncement of President Donald Trump. And this will definitely affect the United States. And the price of the value of dollar in the next couple of months might be weakening in a way because there might not be demand again as such, because a lot of people want to be looking at
other markets,
looking at the market, and they might want to depend on their own internal arrangement rather than moving their product to United States. And this will also strengthen individual currency. For example, Naira, if we are only trading within our country, that might strengthen our own Naira as well. And the same thing with other countries of the world as well. So, and this will have a negative implication on the United States. It will also have a negative implication when it comes to dollar. So these are some of the implications. But those who are going to be affected are the consumer, because the price of some of these products will definitely go up. And before you know it, it is going to really, really affect the economy within the United States.
But I'm thinking, just from what you said now, I'm thinking that it's good for local economies, particularly developing economies like Nigeria, if they can trade, you know, within Africa, trade within the country, trade within among neighboring countries, instead of having to take their products to the United States, for instance, or even for Mexico or for Canada to trade within their country, and see how they can also grow their own economy and stop depending on the American market.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of this pronouncement, sincerely. But however, the question is that, are we ready as a country? You know, we need to now become a producing economy. You know, the government needs to now invest more in production of goods within our own local economy. And if we can do that, then we are going to take over the economy of the Africa. Then we can supply to people, country like Ghana, supply to Malawi, for example, Zimbabwe, and so on and so on, and dominate that economy. That is an opportunity that this pronouncement will give to us as a country. But the question is that, are we ready? Are we a producing economy? But sincerely, are we investing in production of goods locally? Are we empowering our manufacturing industry? We've got Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. What are we doing with them? Are we working with them to ensure that we take advantage of this current pronouncement? Because the European country, they will be looking for new suppliers as well. A lot of other countries that have been affected will be looking for new suppliers. And that is where the opportunity comes for us as a country, that we can take advantage of this. But we need a lot of investment when it comes to the manufacturing industry to ensure that these people are in power and will be able to take advantages of this pronouncement. If not, it's going to be really, it's going to impact us negatively as a country. But we need to be ready.
Of course, I think we have a lot to learn. But first, let me put you on a pause and go for this commercial break. We'll be speaking with Dr. Olushola Kolawole. Do stay with us. You're still watching Business Nigeria. You're still watching Business Nigeria, and we've been talking with Dr. Olushola Kolawole, a lecturer in logistics and supply chain management at the University of Bradford, United Kingdom. And we're discussing the implication of the Trump 2.0 tariff on the global markets. Thank you so much for staying through with us. And I'm just wondering, how big is the logistics market that you feel that since and you said earlier that the United States is a servicing economy, it's not like it's producing, and they've thrived over the years. How do you think, how big is the logistics market that Nigeria or other African nations can tap into? Because we have the population, we have the manpower to go into that business.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Sarah. I think the logistics business is a very big one. And like I've mentioned before, it is an opportunity for us. This is an opportunity for us in Africa, in Nigeria, to ensure that we take the advantages of this pronouncement that has been made by President Donald Trump regarding the trade tariff. Now, one of the things that I think we need to do is just to get prepared. We need to get prepared for that. And in getting prepared, we need to empower our shipment industry in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. So when we get them prepared, invest in them.
What do you mean by get them prepared? What do you mean by that? What operations should they put in place to ensure that they prepare themselves to take over the market?
Yeah, thank you so much. We need to relax on our policy. I am still aware that there are still a lot of borders that have been closed, even in Africa, not only in Nigeria. So we need to get prepared and ensure that some of these borders are open and there is a policy in place. Our policy is still shaking in a way. We need to really empower our people through our policy. So the government needs to come in through the policy and see a way by which these people can get prepared through different opportunities that are there for them, And like I've mentioned before, another thing is that investment. Investment is very important. When there are policy in place, but when people are not when we don't invest in people, when we don't train those people who are doing this logistics, when we don't empower them, then that's going to be an issue. So another way by which the government can intervene in this is to ensure that those who are involved in logistics are well equipped through policy and also through investment. Financial support is another thing. Financial support is one of the things that can really help the logistics organization, company across Africa, also in Nigeria. So if there are a kind of investment when it comes to financial opportunity for them, then this will also help them. It's going to reduce, delays in shipment. We need to work together. Ghana, Nigeria, all these trade countries, they need to work together. Collaboration is another thing. That's what I meant by working together. So we need to see there's a kind of coordination among the African countries. So I'm expecting ECOWAS, for example, to have a special session on this. How can we take the advantages of this pronouncement? What can we do? How can we empower our manufacturing industry? How can we even empower the logistics industry as well? These are the things, these are the conversations that should be going on in ECOWAS, that should be going on in African Union, and see a way we can take the advantage of this pronouncement and launch ourselves again into a European country, into the South America, into the North America, into the Asian as well. We need to launch ourselves, but we need a coordinated effort among all the African leaders to do that. And that was what I meant by we need to get ourselves prepared. It's not a one-man show. It's not just about Nigeria alone now. It's all about African coming together and taking a decision. This is how we're going to launch it, and this is what we need to do. And that is one of the ways by which we can coordinate the logistics organization across Africa.
I think something we're even really forgetting is how the Israel-Gaza war is still affecting the global market and ravaging the entire space, coupled with this trade war we now have that's been proclaimed by President Donald Trump. I just want to get what your outlook is for the entire global trade and logistics market.
Yeah, thank you. For the entire global trade, the conflict is still there. I remember a few months ago, I was also here to discuss Gaza implication. And I doubt it if the war is going down very soon, because a lot of things is going up at the moment. And one of the area that is really being affected is the shipment, which is also part of the logistic that I spoke about the last time. And it's affecting a lot. There's a lot of delays in moving goods, especially from Asia to other parts of the world. And this might still continue for the rest of the year. And that's one of the outlook. There's going to be a lot of delays when it comes to goods moving from Asian, from other parts of the world, moving, especially when it comes to Red Sea. There's going to be a lot of issue there, and delay will still be there. Ukraine war is still ongoing. There's a Taiwan war now that it might happen at any time. So that one is also there. And these are also increasing what is called the insurance premium, for example. Because of this, a lot of organizations, they have to pay a lot of money, to ensure that their shipment, their logistics goods are being insured. And it's also affecting a lot of them, which is also affecting the price of goods. And that is why for the rest of this year, there's going to be instability when it comes to the price of goods, of some of these products that has to be shipped maybe from different country to another. And that is another outlook that might be a bit of concern. How about inflation? Inflation might be going up as well. There's going to be rising cost of transportation, and as a result of that, like I've mentioned, consumer will pay higher when it comes to purchasing some of these goods that we have mentioned. Interest rates might be going on as well. And when interest rate goes up, what happens as well? It will also cause, it will make some of this economy to be vulnerable. And it's going to have effect on the food product, on energy, on consumer electronics, and so on and so forth. And there's going to be slow in global trade. As a result of this, the global trade may be slow in a way in this year if some of these things are not properly managed. And I think we really need to manage them. And that's going to be an issue when it comes to global supply chain, because a lot of organizations might be thinking it is better we focus on our in-house, focus on our own country and do our business within our country rather than going outside the country. And this will definitely have effect on the global supply chain, because we believe that there should be a kind of international trade and free trade across the world. But as a result of what is going on at the moment, it might affect some of these things.
So I'm thinking like investors will be thinking this might not be the right time to invest in a business like logistics because they're worried that the tariff would affect their business. But, I'm just also looking at what should Donald Trump have done differently? I know that he has come up with the protectionist policy. He wants to make America great again. If you compare it with the Biden administration's economic policy, what would you say really had a difference? And how do you think it would have shaped the global war or the global trade differently?
Yeah, like I've mentioned before, that USA is actually a service economy. I was thinking President Donald Trump will have focused more on that, empowered the service organization within the United States, and continue to make them leaders. Like I mentioned before, all the tech headquarters, most of the tech headquarters rather, they are all based in the United States, and which is making them to be the leader. So why is it that he didn't focus on that and see a way by which he can empower them and make them great? And I think that is the difference between what he's doing and what the former president has done as well. It's quite different. He's not focusing, he's focusing more on the service, that is the former president. While he wants to diversify that, focusing on the production of goods within the United States, which is a good one, which is fine. But nevertheless, it could have channeled more energy on what they know how to do best. and which is service industry. So I expected him to rethink about that. And another thing I was thinking he could have done is consultation. I don't know who those people who are advising him. Those are the questions I kept asking. What are those people advising him? It would have been nice to consult widely, not only in the United States, consult with world leaders as well. And this is what we want to do. How do you guys see it? And they could provide a kind of advice to him as well. And I think these are some of the things he needs to do. Take a step. He needs to calm down, study the economy. The war is not really going well across the world, especially given the issue in Ukraine, given the issue in Gaza. Everywhere is tense already. Everywhere is tense. And bringing this policy at this moment, I don't think is the right time for that policy, for him to bring that policy at this moment, because everywhere is tense, is hot, and he needs to calm down and possibly rethink about this decision and see alternative way by which he can handle this. Before you know it now, China, they came up again and said they are going to increase their own tariff to 34%, which is an issue. And before you know it, it's going to escalate. So the world leader, they need to take it calm and see a way out of this.
I really hope President Donald Trump is listening to your advice, because President Trump, is bent on going ahead with his tariff plan. Dr. Olushola Kolawole, lecturer in logistics and supply chain management at the University of Bradford, United Kingdom. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on Business Nigeria.
Thank you. Thank you.
But still to come on the show, we'll shift our focus to the crude oil market as oil prices tumble further over Trump.